At this point, I'm convinced that this league is just a social experiment with the sole purpose of testing the willpower of the masses. And by masses, I mostly mean United and Spurs fans. Ruben Amorim has only been in the job for a few months and he's already labelled this team as the worst in the history of Manchester United. This man left the best sporting side in decades to manage the worst United side in even longer. I'm sure the money makes it all worth it, but I wouldn't wish the will he won't he relationship Onana has with the concept of consistency on my worst enemy. Ange Postecoglou must go home every day and stare at the phone waiting for that fateful ring to come through from Levy. 7 wins in 22 games is atrocious from the team with the most expensive football stadium in the world, with season ticket prices that could break any bank. Guys, I don't think you understand. This was at Goodison Park, to be fair, but Everton scored 17% of their league goals this season against Spurs. This is tragic, man. Arsenal are allergic to mounting a title challenge. City are on the rise, happy birthday to Pep. Forest are not to be messed with. Bournemouth are a very tidy side at the moment. As a fan of football, this has really been an incredible season all year round. As a fan of United, I'm getting a lot of gym motivation. Hello, hope you're well, welcome back. Like a lot of you guys, I like to repress my emotions, just really dig them deep into the back of my mind and then deal with them later, which is why we're going to start this video off by talking about Spurs. Before that, just a quick one, after some consideration, I've decided to try out a live stream on this channel, just because I think it's an easy way to chat to people, get some feedback on the channel, discuss my hairline, and talk about how the season's been going for everyone so far. It'll be tomorrow during the Bayer Leverkusen Atletico Madrid match, and that's that. Like I said, I will be experimenting with a bunch of different formats of videos over the next couple of months, so you guys can watch out for that. So, Spurs. If anything, this team is the real test of patience within the league. I keep saying this, but I fear that not a lot of people are taking me seriously when I do. We don't know what this Spurs side is capable of, okay? We just don't. Against Arsenal, they lost deservedly, but they were so dangerous and aggressive at so many different points in the game, it makes you wonder where their priorities are. At the same time, a 2-1 scoreline really flatters them because the amount of times Jed Spence and Pedro Porro win the opposition's half while Arsenal were on the attack was laughable. We're talking about a team in 15th place with a goal difference of +10. They've won 1 game in their last 10 league matches. How is this possible? On that note, I'd like to take a moment to offer my deepest, most sincere condolences to the Porro family. Trossard turned their boy into mincemeat, a generational ankle break. They're gone. Destroyed, blasted to smithereens. I've been there before, you know? You just lie there on the floor hoping that a black hole materializes and envelopes you and just ends you right there. But in my case, there weren't 60,000 people all around me, plus another couple few millions watching as it happened. On a serious note, I've come to a point where I don't really feel that sorry for Spurs and their injury crisis and plight right now because, well, we all make excuses for them and the Spurs fans do the same. They are slipping deeper and deeper into the abyss. We have seen what a full-strength Spurs side can do when they play that really dangerous Ange ball, but I know that we haven't really seen a full-strength Spurs side at all this season. However, we also haven't seen Ange adjust his tactics that much for the available personnel. I do have to acknowledge he is trying out different things, especially in terms of changing up the structure of the defense, but tactically as a whole, is it enough? I think at this point the overwhelmingly common opinion is that Postecoglou's stubbornness and wanting to play with his identity, or nothing at all, is going to just end up with him managing nothing at all. If it weren't for the cup competitions, I think this guy might be gone already. 3-0 down against Everton at halftime, and just like in the Arsenal match, even though this was only halfway through the game, it made them look better than they actually were during that first half. It made Calvert-Lewin think the year was 2021. Archie Gray isn't a centre-back. It has been a baptism of fire for him this season, and to be fair, every time I've seen him, the guy has done pretty well. He is a pretty good baller. But when it comes to Radu Dragusin, I'm not sure what excuses he has. He was awful in just about every battle that he faced in that Everton match. Ndiaye scores a great goal to make it 2-0 and he deserves his flowers, but Dragusin put up no fight at all to stop him. Like I've alluded to, when it comes to guys like Mickey van der Ven and Christian Romero, the man-for-man defending holds up a lot better, and to be fair, both of them are poised to be fit and available in the next week, I believe. But last time they were both fit and available, they were thrust into the squad immediately and both of them were immediately re-injured. So I don't know how much we can rely on them coming in and improving the team immediately. Heung-min Son has visibly regressed this season. He's not the player he used to be, nor should anyone expect him to be, especially since he's been doing a lovely carry job over so many occasions over the last 10 years, right? At the very least, Kulusevski can be counted on to do great things, but he is the only one. So how do Spurs fix this? In this scenario, I do blame the establishment more than the players. Is it as simple as firing Postecoglou? I mean, if the guy refuses to be a bit more pragmatic considering his circumstances, very well might be. Do we need to blame Daniel Levy for poor team planning and look to him for reinforcements? I would also think so. Johnson and Solanke were both added to the long list of absentees recently, and Bissouma also missed the Everton game with a knock. Defenders are needed, attackers are needed, doctors are needed. It's a team in need. And I know I've already said this, but they do have just a lovely stadium. I've been to it before. I went there just over a year ago. I was visiting family at the time. It's state of the art, truly. At least there's some pretty architecture and engineering to look at, because what's on display on the pitch, it's not as pretty. You know? And while Spurs are wallowing in sadness, Sol Campbell decides to appear in a Google Pixel ad where he beats a cock, a roll, and talks about how switching sides is always a good idea. This man has no shame. I'm not even a Spurs fan, but it made me feel something. But listen, it could be worse. I'm sure there isn't an ancient rat civilization at this stadium. We are maybe the worst team in the history of Manchester United. I know that you want headlines, but I'm saying that because we have to acknowledge that and to change that. There you go. Your headline. Amorim understands that his real job is to put food on the tables of all the media outlets around the world. That's my manager right there. 5 losses in the last 8 games is unfathomably horrific. As it always has been with this team, it seems that the order of the day is comedy. Ten Hag took charge of 9 games this season. He won 3, lost 4, drew twice. Amorim's taken charge for 11 games, won 3, lost 6, drawn 2. The numbers are damning, closer to the relegation spots than they are to the Champions League spots. Southampton, numbers-wise, is one of the worst Premier League sides in the competition's history. Their current trajectory, based off of 22 games, sees them putting up 10 points all in all over the course of the year. This is worse than 2008 Derby County, a team that performed in the league about as well as Elon Musk performs while gaming. And yet this same Southampton team looked incredibly competent against United and missed out on running rampage only thanks to some poor finishing and an Onana masterclass. Kamaldeen Sulemana was electric for the Saints. The left flank belonged to him as he capitalized on United's lethargy. It was like they were playing in slow motion. I mean, there was more movement and urgency in the second half, and thank God for that. But what kind of a message does this send to the rest of the league? Amad Diallo seems like he's on a one-man mission to make sure that this team avoids relegation, but even he was quite quiet for the first 70, 80 minutes of the game before bursting to life and saving everything. At least he showed up when it mattered, and honestly, to me, that's all that matters. The guy is doing his absolute best to put this team on his back and drag them to a mid-table finish, because I don't think we can do better than that, sadly. I'm kind of sick about talking about United at this point. If you guys have watched this channel for a while, you know that every now and then I kind of take months or weeks off of talking about United at a time, because I feel like it just gives me some mental clarity, and sometimes my writing is a bit too emotional. I might have to do that again. I do attribute the increase in United-centric videos recently to the appointment, or my excitement rather, with the appointment of Amorim, but that has faded away like dust at this point. This team does a really good job of making me fixate on the badge and forget that these players are just crap. For the most part, you can't count on any of them to have more than one good game in a row. You think that Onana's turned a corner, he makes a horrific mistake. You think Højlund is improving, and then he just develops the first touch of a baby elephant. Fernandes is good, but when things aren't going his way, he plays hero ball and gets frustrated. And yeah, we can talk about referees. Minter scissor chops Dalot from behind with both feet off the ground, and not even a foul was given. Baleba was on a yellow card, but still made a few nasty challenges and nothing was done about it. Of course, there was the Arsenal match and the fact that a lot of the decisions were questionable at best. The officiating was horrific, but that's kind of the standard in the league right now. And when we talk about referees as them being the problem and the officiating being a problem, it's just not a very good look. And it also takes away from the fact that this team is just bad. I could go on, but what's the point? Brighton had very good value for their win. Everyone knows that this is a team that you have to take seriously, and when you don't, they can embarrass you. but it just all came so easy to them. Mitoma broke free like it was nothing to set Minte up. There was a disallowed goal when João Pedro happened upon a ball that had gone through about 3 United bodies, and it wasn't allowed because of a foul on Dalot in the lead up. But if you look back at the replay of when Dalot does swipe with the ball and try and clear the ball, he gets kicked, but only after he had tried to clear the ball. That ball was going anywhere regardless. I might even say that the ball would have fell to João Pedro anyway had he not been fouled. In my eyes, that might be a stroke of luck. But I do understand that that is pessimism talking. It's the same pessimism I felt when Minte was in the box, unattached, before being allowed to cross far post to Mitoma. The same pessimism that made me fearful when I saw a cross come in and Onana give yet another freebie to have the game killed off. Spare a thought for a United fan today. If you see one in the wild, give them a hug. Tell them they're loved and cared about and that they hold so much value in this world. These are trying times. Oh God, that's over. Let's talk about Arsenal. Coming off a big win in the North London derby, you think that Arsenal were poised to keep going with their momentum. I mean, they're not beating the allegations, scoring another corner goal, but they fully deserved the win anyway. Fast forward a few days, and like it has been at several points this year, the result hasn't gone Arteta's way and he's claimed that Arsenal deserved the win. And maybe he's right. I watched this game and Arsenal played pretty well, I thought. They were quite unlucky to not score in the last 20 minutes or so. But they didn't score. And I get a lot of flack for saying this sort of thing in the past, but if I'm writing an exam, all right, I've studied, I know all the answers. I sit down, I write all the answers down, but I don't submit my paper. Did I deserve to pass? Listen, that was a silly example, but you know what? Watching Arsenal take about 60 seconds before every dead ball or corner, and then watching Arteta tell the referee to watch out for time wasting in the dying minutes, come on, man. You can't give up a 2-goal lead in 8 minutes, have a goal disallowed correctly for handball, and complain that you were robbed, which I've seen a lot of Arsenal fans do over the last, couple of days. Having said all of that, don't get confused. We're still in January, and Arsenal are only 6 points off the top. That's not a big distance, but I can't shake the feeling that it's all over yet again. Right now, Arsenal are sadly victims of the incredibly high standards that they've displayed over the past couple of years. Last year, after 22 games played, they were on about 50 points. The year before that, they were on 49 points. Right now, Liverpool are on 50 points. What's worse is that there were likely quite a lot of Arsenal fans hate watching as Liverpool were locked in a stalemate with Brentford and couldn't score despite putting up 37 shots away from home. Something I didn't think was possible. Now this happened on Saturday afternoon before the Arsenal match. Some of these fans probably turned off their TV thinking the job was done and all they had to do was win and they would creep ever so closer, only for Darwin Núñez to rock up and score a brace after the 90th minute. What can we say? They keep getting away with it. They keep missing chances, even sometimes look mediocre early in the match and then bang, they put it right in the slot. That sounded weird. Why'd I say that? Less possession? Check. Quick-fire goals with tidy finishes to give them the win? Check. Joint second still? Also check. Every Forest supporter right now is super grateful for Chris Wood. Happy birthday to Pep Guardiola. Man City seems to be back to winning ways after they themselves let a 2-goal lead slip after, was it 8 or 7 minutes last week against Brentford? If you do follow the news, he's not having a great time in his personal life right now, and I feel really bad about that. Hopefully he sorts himself out, his mind out and everything, and I wish him and his family all the best. But luckily for him, City are still in it, They're only 6 points off the top 3 right now, and you'd think it'd be much more given how horrendous their run was. Maybe they can do something. I think they'll finish second. Honestly, I'll say it right here. They've just signed Omar Marmoush, a man that's been tearing it up in the Bundesliga. Sucked to be Frankfurt to lose such a great asset. Great to be Man City. I must admit that I did not watch the Bournemouth match as they beat Newcastle 4-1, but what in the world is going on with this team? I see Justin Kluivert has already scored more goals than he has in any of the last 7 seasons, complete with a hat-trick. They've been in some incredible form. 10 games now without a defeat. Admittedly, I think the only Bournemouth matches that I've watched this season are their win against City, their win against United, of course, and their draw against Chelsea. Might be worth looking into. If you're a Bournemouth fan, let me know what's going on with your team, because this is great. 37 points, only a point or 4th place, is nothing to joke about this deep into the year. And there you have it, your weekly Premier League / Man United roundup video. I actually quite like making these videos, minus the United part at the very least. It makes me focus on the rest of the league and the narratives developing across it, and it's pretty great. Let me know what you guys think about them, or we can chat about it on stream. And that's all for me today. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you're having a great day. Cheers, and I will catch you in the next one.